So, there has been a slight change of plans. Um, let's jump into that. That is absolutely fantastic. That's exactly what you want. Perfect. Alright, so it's a bit of a mess. Yesterday, I came out here with the intention of just fixing this body mount and the front one there, just so that they could all bolt in. You know, obviously you want that. When I first did this body mount, I kind of just skipped that little step because I just didn't feel like doing it. But so after a few attempts at trying to get the stud out, not this one, but the actual stud that broke off in there, I was trying to weld a nut on there, couldn't get it to come out. Finally just, here, let me see if I got a light. So, when this first happened a few years ago, I'd cut this in the floor at an attempt to get the stud out right there. So there's basically a nut that comes through here where it bolt up in. And I couldn't get it, so I just kind of left it. But now, hole there. Plan was to just, not this bolt, I was going to have to go get longer ones, but drop it through and just be able to bolt it in. And so that was the plan there. Then getting to this front floorboard. Actually, let me get this out. So, well, there's that mess. Another hole there. Was trying to get that one out. Had less success with it. Well, you get the idea. But kept looking more and more at this floorboard. Like I said, I have the floorboard right here. Just didn't feel like doing it right now. But the more and more I kept looking at it, I kind of just, feel a certain way about it. Decided to take a break from looking at this. Went back to just grinding down the frame on this because I kind of wanted to clean it up a little bit anyways. And then we got to here, where the more and more I kept grinding, the more and more of the frame kept disappearing. So we essentially had a hole from here to there. This is a factory hole, but all that was rotted out, and that was kind of something where, yeah, obviously you got to fix that. You can't have that. So, like I said, I plan on doing safety frame caps all along. Don't have them right now. I don't have a plasma cutter, which is what I want to use when I go to do that, just so I can actually cut the thing, all the frame out efficiently, and it'll look nice. But this had to be patched, so I had some 3/16ths, cut this out, patched it in. Looks okay. I don't weld that much. I plan on going to get more steel to actually plate over this, from probably there all the way to there, just so it's actually strong. And most likely going to have to do the other side too. The other side of the frame isn't nearly as bad, but that side, same sort of thing going on right there. So I'm going to actually have to go get more steel for that. But the more and more I was messing with that, the more and more I started looking at the floorboard. And because I have it, the replacement, I think I'm just going to cut out all that crap and just weld it in. And, might as well just do it now. I pulled the seat out. So that's going to happen. Like I said, wasn't planning on doing that right now, but, I'm here. So, and then now that I'm looking at doing that, now I really want to bedline the tub, just because if I'm taking everything out, I kind of want to do it, but that's another probably day's worth of work, and I don't have all the time in the world. So I'm going to sit on that for a little bit here, and I might just end up doing it. All right, well, that was one of the easier things I've ever done in this. So, yeah, I'm going to clean all this up before I screen, because there's a lot going on, and then we can start cutting out that floorboard, which I don't think is going to be too bad. It's pretty open in here now. I got to get the dash covered, because that's my biggest concern, is just getting crap all over it, and I don't really feel like pulling that out. So probably just going to tarp it from like here up. I'm only going to tack this floorboard, and I'm not going to, fully like run beads or anything, because it just doesn't really matter that much. I'm just going to do a bunch of tacks and seam sealer. But yeah, so we'll start cutting that out. Alright, so if you've ever, wondered why do Jeeps rust so much, that's part of your answer right there. Alright, cool. So we got this trimmed up, fits in pretty good. All along the edges, up top, got it shortened. Obviously right there I got to build kind of a little custom slip because the floorboard wasn't long enough. But yeah, it's not too bad. There's some seam sealer like right about, sorry, I'm trying to get light. Right about there I got to clean up, so hopefully that'll sit flat. And then all along this seam, I got to grind all that crap down underneath. So we can try to get that to sandwich up in there. There's some rust underneath here too. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with that yet. But yeah, other than that though, it fits up pretty good. So the plan here, everything underneath, grind that down, this grind down, tack it all. And then I got to, yeah, like I said, build something to fit in there. But it was going pretty quick, knock on wood, but a lot quicker than I thought it was going to take. Alright, so we got that strip over there tacked in. It all fits up pretty nice. That sits right down in there. And so for that body mount back there, that's what we're going to do. So I got a nut welded to a piece of metal. Gonna put it back there. Weld it on, bolt will go up through, it'll be great. Beautiful. Alright, so we got this all ready to go. I got some weld through primer all along the inside and then underneath the new floor, just to give that some corrosion resistance. Have plug welds drilled in along the torque box and right up there, so we can get some plugs going there just to strengthen it up. But yeah, should be ready to weld in. All right, there is once again a floor. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here and just clean up some of the cruddier welds, you know, some of these plug welds that look like crap. Just with the grinder. All this though, not really too big of a deal, just because when we use that seam sealer, you know, you kind of want to lay it out thick enough so that it covers all that anyways, and that way you know you got a good seal. So basically everywhere where I welded, gonna get seam sealer. And then when we start working underneath on the frame, I'm gonna pull the skid plate, and then we can get into that tunnel and clean it up from the back and seam seal, because I want to seam seal underneath too, as well as bedline, just so we really know we got a really strong, solid fix. So, but yeah, super solid. Gonna be really nice moving forward with this. Just gonna look so much better. So I'm gonna start cleaning up these welds, and then we can get some seam sealer in. Just for the sake of strength, just because this part's not overlapping anything, I added more tack welds up on the top, so it basically goes all the way across, just, you know, just cause. And then, so I'm looking at this patch that I did forever ago here. Originally I was just gonna really clean it up, but the more I'm looking at it, you know, there's a lot of rust kind of just in the welds and on the back side. All right, yeah, so on the back side you can see just doesn't look very clean. So before I start you know, bedlining all this and bedlining all this and seam sealing, I'd like to straighten out that this body mount right here too. I got to create a new mount, kind of like I did for the other one. And then the other two on the passenger side, these never broke, but you know, I have a feeling they might now. So I'm gonna have to check those. This one right here, I'm gonna have to rebuild. So when I first did this one wasn't that bad, but it's collapsed now. So I'm just gonna do kind of what I did with the other side. So that I don't need to cut through the floor to do. But these two I might. So I'm gonna pull these out just to make sure. I gotta take them out anyways to do the slider, but you know, I'd rather make sure before we start bedlining that we don't have to go through and cut into the floor. But this side's not really bad at all, just needs to be cleaned up. So I'm gonna start cutting out that rocker. We'll do a new patch there, and then we can pull these body mounts out and hopefully start the bedliner process pretty quick here, because I'm pretty excited for it. So let's get started. we got this going along pretty nice. I've just been alternating where I'm tacking, just so we don't overheat this and cause it to warp. But a little trick for getting this, airtight is put a flashlight behind there, and you can see, right there, you can see a little pinhole right there. It's just an easier way to be able to do that, so you can make sure you get everything. Alright, for this back mount, there's that in all of its gloriness. So, kind of the same concept, it's still kind of hot. Just gonna drop it there, send the bolt up through it, and then we'll just weld it in however it wants to fit. Alright, so this was my attempt at trying to close that off. Not that it really matters, but didn't really want to go back. I mean, I could cut it out and actually make it look good, but I don't really care because it's going to be basically under the seat, and I'm just going to cover it in seam sealer, and then bed liner, and that makes everything look good. And then luckily the other two body mounts on the other side both came out, so we should be good to start prepping for the bed liner, which is going to require, get this out of the way, somehow I have to clean this all out because it's disgusting, and then I gotta get a primer on all these welds and all the bare metal, and anything like that, it's got to get cleaned up, and hopefully I don't have to do any more welding, but knock on wood. But yeah, so let's get to work. Alright, so we got these patches in here, in there, and then I got everything sanded with 220. Cleaned it like 3 times with this multi-purpose foaming prep cleaner, which is pretty cool. It just kind of sprays it out foamy, wipe it up, and then I use just some wax and grease remover to once over it. So now we're ready for just a self-etching primer. So I'm gonna go just lightly over all the bare metal, with everywhere we welded basically, so just kind of mist it, just to get that bed liner something to stick to. I believe it actually sticks to bare metal anyways, but I might, never hurts to do it just for the sake of it. So we're gonna do that to all the bare metal, and then we'll get the seam sealer on, and then we should be ready for bed liner. Alright, so that primer's all dried up, so now we can start seam sealing. So I'm not positive if I'm gonna have enough, so I really hope I do, or else I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow to go get more, which would suck. But yeah, so I'm just gonna run it along everywhere where there's welds, just all the tacks, just to seal it in, and then more, or some right there where we did that patch too. And then when I start to do the underside, which will be another day, then we'll seam seal from the back too, so I'll get more for that. But for now, we're just gonna do this side, and I really hope I have enough. Alright, there we go. So we ended up having plenty, so that wasn't, sorry guys, I'm really tired. It's super late right now, but we ended up having plenty, so I could really use a lot, which was nice, just so we could get a really good seal. And so what I normally do is I'll lay it down kind of how the bead comes out, which is a little thinner than this, and then I just use a glove to really kind of, I guess, push it down and spread it, so that way we can get a really a wide sorry guys, a wide seal on it, while also packing it down, in the welds and the holes if there's any there, and that way it's a really good seal, watertight, even though there's holes everywhere, But that, I believe, is one of the better ways to do it. So we got that, and then that one right there, and then the floor patch. So now I gotta wait for this to kind of dry for, they say like a half hour, but I think it's gonna be a little longer just because it's a little colder. So I'm gonna wait around for that, and then we can start bed lining. So pretty excited for it. That's why I'm staying up. So let's get started. All right, so here's where we're at. So we got one coat in, laid out really nice. Took a little bit, but I think it looks really good. You know, you can see like all that seam sealer and stuff really blends right in, and yeah, looks just so much better than what it did before. Um, I mean, it just makes the whole thing look, almost new. So they say the can says wait 1 to 2 hours before the second coat. I'm not gonna wait 1 to 2 hours. I'm probably just gonna do it tomorrow morning. But yeah, no, this is definitely, yeah, I'm excited about this one. I've been wanting to do this for a couple of years, so now to actually have it done, it's really cool. And to have this floorboard done too, wasn't really in the plans right now, but I'm definitely glad it's done. So, all right, so I'm gonna get everything cleaned up, and yeah, that's gonna do it for today. All right, guys, so that's gonna do it for today. I'm exhausted. It's been a long couple of days doing all of this. I'm really glad it's done. I mean, done used lightly because I still got a lot more rust repair to actually do. But the tub and all that, the fact that it's out of the way is just huge. Um, Next episode, I want to start tackling the frame and finish up those patches. And once we get all that kind of done, then we're kind of clear down the road to just finishing up a little bit of body work, and then we can actually get into doing the fun stuff, the wrapping and kind of all that stuff that's actually makes it look cool. But to actually get this stuff done is just huge for the life of the Jeep, for uh, my pride in it, all that. It's really cool. Um, it's a little tedious, but it's just a step in that process. So, but thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe. All that would be great. And I'll see you in the next one.